Responsive tee times, making a lottery request on a desktop. Over the course of this video, I'm going to illustrate how to make a lottery request by way of a desktop computer. So much like making a booking, the first thing to do is select the date on which you'd like to play. I want to make a request for Tuesday, July 31st. Now I can select that from the date scroll, or I can select that from the select date control by selecting July 31st from the calendar. Once I'm on the date, again, I can show hide many courses. I'm looking to book a lottery time, and I know my Royal Govan is my lottery course on the 31st. I want to play in the afternoon, so I'm going to bring up the drop down and select afternoon, and I want to see all times. So the afternoon times will show between 11 and 5 p.m. So I'm going to select that I want to play at 1 p.m. And again, I have the option of hitting the time button, or alternatively using the quick book option to book on behalf of myself and unnamed players, or myself in groups. If I were to add a group, like the Caldwell team, to my reservation, I could simply click on that and it would automatically add me and the two people within my Caldwell team group. So in that case, it's Stephen and Wendy Caldwell. Much like a tee time reservation, I have the ability to add individual players as well. The big difference with lottery is that you will have the option to configure an acceptable time range, determining the earliest and latest times and whether or not you want to add to waitlist. Some of these options may not appear to you as your club does not support them, as they default an acceptable time range in for you. I can say that my earliest time I want to play is 11 a.m. and the latest time I'm willing to play is 3 p.m. Establishing the acceptable time range determines the range of possible times the lottery system will assign to you when it runs through. That means that if I possibly was going to be assigned a time prior to 11 a.m., it will not give it to me because I'm only available to play between 11 and 3. Anything before or after that range is deemed unacceptable. The Add to Waitlist option simply adds you to the waitlist should you not get a reservation for the time you had selected after the lottery has run. If your club allows group bookings, you will have the ability to specify the number of lottery groups up to the max allowed by the club within this screen. So you don't necessarily need to go to the group booking screen to make a group lottery request. You can do it from the regular tee sheet when booking a lottery time. Again, if your club supports group booking. If your club does not support group booking, this drop-down will not even appear atop the players. So much like we did with a regular tee time reservation, you're simply just adding players to the booking by looking up member names and adding guests. So again, William Ackerman will add that member. Now we're going to add a guest. We're going to add Robert Lamanna once again. We're going to enter his first name, his last name, and his email address to ensure that he receives notifications upon completion of the reservation. And finally, we'll add a buddy. And we're going to add Scott Taylor again to the reservation. So the last thing we can have concern ourselves with is whether or not your club allows additions to existing lottery requests. If it does, you may be prompted to determine who you're going to allow to add to this. Nobody, so that means nobody can add to the lottery request. Just your buddies, so only they will see the option, only those people in your buddy list will see the option to add themselves to the request, and then any member. That's open to anyone to jump in. Now, because I've filled out the time with 4 people, no one's going to be able to add to this anyway, so it doesn't matter what I set it to. To complete it, I simply click on Submit Request, and again, I'll receive a confirmation of that tee time request ballot being submitted, and now I have to sit and wait until the lottery process is run through to determine whether or not I receive a tee time. The confirmation screen is much the same. It shows me the course, the date and time I've requested, the acceptable time range I've specified, if I'm allowed to do so, the confirmation number of the request, as well as all of the players on the reservation, the number of holes, and the preferences of the players. Similarly, I can cancel the request, print the confirmation, sync this to my calendar, email it to other people, or view it in my bookings. And that's making a request on a desktop computer using responsive tee times.